215. Okay. Williams 44614. 446. This will happen on Cosmo. South of.
I almost wish you could replicate this, right? How everybody's working together, right? Because it is, Mayor Bass and her team, all the board of supervisors of the county, Mark Pastrey, the DPW of the county, who's doing the ROEs, and just everybody's all in, and it's an amazing effort. And we talk all the time, so that's the other thing. Where just the constant communication. If a problem comes up, we all can text each other. We all have each other's numbers. We all get on senior leader calls, and we share our problems immediately, so we can all help solve each other's problems. So this is, I hate that it only comes out in disasters, right? If we could work like this and all the other things we do, we could just be so much more powerful. But I've been blown away at the teamwork. I almost wish you could replicate this, right? How everybody's working together, right? Because it is, Mayor Bass and her team, all the board of supervisors of the county, Mark Pastrey, the DPW,
And so this one's not going to be good for Aaron. And Aaron poked the wrong bears. And you guys know, some of you guys know who this person is. This person is known. But this person is coming. This person's coming swinging. It should be an epic stream. I talked with them for 2 hours today. I apologize. I feel awful. We're going to hear details of the accusations of Louis Repetto. We're going to hear about Aaron's.
That strike you used was a sun fist, and you used an ox fist and tiger claw. And I'll use others. Monkey steals the beat.
So, all right, and the recording will start now. All right, we're good.
I guess gee, there's nobody here. Okay, so we will call the meeting to order. This is the Board of Neighborhood Commission Chair, Joy Atkinson, welcoming you all to the meeting, and the time is, I don't have my.
103.
103.
103. 103.
103, okay. And the time meeting and identify their roles. They will be heard speaking during the course of the meeting. Eric Munoz will act as a meeting moderator. He will announce when it is time for public comment, accept comment cards from those present today, if they come in, and unmute participants who wish to speak. He will conduct a vote by voice roll call of the board as needed. Daniel Johnson will provide technical support. For everyone listening to our Board of Neighborhood Commissioners meeting via Zoom, the meeting moderator has muted all attendees and will unmute speakers when called upon to give public comment. So welcome to today's meeting. It is Monday, it's May 19th, 2025. During the meeting today, we will discuss the items listed on the meeting agenda in numerical order, unless I receive a request from a board member to take an item out of order. If any board member has a conflict of interest at the time an agenda item is announced for discussion, the board member should identify the general nature of the conflict, indicate that they are recusing themselves from participating in the matter, and leave the meeting session during the duration of the discussion of the item. Before we make a decision on any item, members of the public will have an opportunity to provide comments on the item under consideration. A member of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item, excluding general public comment at a single meeting, shall limit their remarks to a total of 5 minutes per meeting. Members of the public who want to speak on multiple agenda items for up to the 5 minutes per meeting at one time may choose to speak during the multiple agenda items comment period. Members of the public who are attending in person will be given the opportunity to speak first, followed by the members of the public who wish to comment on Zoom. If you have general comment on an item that is not listed on the agenda, you may provide your comment during the general public comments portion of the meeting. General public comment is limited to 15 minutes maximum. At the discretion of the presiding officer of the board, an individual speaker will not be allowed more than 2 minutes during general public comment. General public comment should be directed to the board rather than to individuals. Please understand there are applicable laws that limit the actions we may take during today's meeting. Thus, we may be legally prohibited from acting on a concern that you have expressed. However, your concern may become a topic of discussion at a future board meeting after we have had the chance to list the item on the agenda. On behalf of the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners, we do not condone disrespectful and/or harmful speech. We denounce this behavior and apologize in advance to those attending this meeting that may hear such language during any public comment. We are obligated to uphold an individual's right to free speech. However, let me be clear, all comments made at this meeting must be within the jurisdiction of this body, directed to this body as a whole, and if made during any time other than general public comments, must be specific in nature to an agenda item. Multiple agenda items comment period for one or multiple items on the agenda will occur during item number 4 of today's agenda. General public comment will occur during item number 5 of today's agenda. When the agenda item is open to public comment, the moderator will provide instructions for Zoom and telephone attendees to be recognized and will allow comments on a first come, first served basis. To facilitate the orderly process of public comment and to assist the board to conducting business as efficiently as possible, a member of the public who attends in person and wishes to speak on the agendized matter or during general public comment is requested to complete and submit a speaker card to the moderator. Individuals will be called in the order in which the speaker cards are submitted. Individuals who have submitted speaker cards will be the first to speak during today's meeting, followed by the Zoom and telephone participants. For public comment by members of the public participating via Zoom or telephone, the moderator will advise when their time for comment has concluded and proceed to mute the commenter. For multiple agenda items comment, the moderator will ask which agenda items they will speak on and how much of the 5 minutes they will use. The commenter will answer the questions, followed by the moderator requested they state their name for the record and proceed with their comment. Pursuant to the City of Los Angeles Administrative Code, if a neighborhood council CIS or written resolution pertains to an item listed on the commission agenda during the time the item is heard, the designated neighborhood council representative will have an opportunity to present the neighborhood council's formal position. At the chair's discretion, the chair may ask the neighborhood council representative to be promoted as a panelist if they are participating via Zoom or telephone. The chair may also provide the neighborhood council representative more time than allotted to members of the general public. Please note that if the commission has received a CIS on an agenda item, there is a connotation under that agenda item that allows time for the submitting neighborhood council to speak, which is separate from public comment. If the CIS or a resolution pertaining to a matter that is not listed on the agenda, the designated neighborhood council representative may speak during general public comment. Those are their instructions, and we'll now call the meeting to order.
Okay. Good afternoon, Commission President Atkinson.
Here.
Commission Vice President Schaefer.
Here.
Commissioner Kuros is absent. Commissioner Eberhard.
Here.
Commissioner Irving.
Here.
Commissioner Waters is absent. Commissioner Wiebe is absent. We have 4 commissioners present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 3 is the approval of the minutes from May 6th. Are there any changes or edits? Okay, take it.
I'll move the minute. I'll move approval.
Thank you.
Commissioner Eberhard.
Commissioner Schaefer, I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Eberhard and seconded by Commissioner Schaefer to accept the minutes. Now, are there any additions or amendments to the minutes? No?
I know.
We take public comment on minutes?
Yes. Okay, agenda item number 3 is open for public comment on the minutes. If you would like to comment and are on the telephone, press star 9. If you're on the computer in the Zoom window, press the raise hand button at this time. If you're in person and have submitted a comment card for this agenda item, your name will be called first. Each speaker will have 2 minutes to speak on the item. When you're unmuted or called for to speak, please clearly state your name for the record. Okay, we're going to call on Henry. We're just going to get a timer real quick. Right, Henry, you are being muted.
Looking for an item for
Hello, you there? Henry?
in here.
Yes, we can hear you a little bit.
I'm passing on this. I'm just waiting on agenda item 4, so don't count my time. I'm just writing up for number 4.
You're waiting on agenda item number 4? Okay. Thank you. Next up, we're going to go over to Jill. Jill, you are being unmuted.
No, I'm going to speak on the next agenda, number 5. I'm sorry, I have my hand raised.
No worries, just as a heads up, the next one is number 4.
I'll be on number, okay.
Okay, well, we'll skip you.
I'm gonna just general public comment then, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. And those are all the public comments that we have on this.
Okay, so I'm taking all approval
Okay.
from May 6th.
Okay, roll call vote on the approval of minutes, moved by Commissioner Epperhart, seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. Commissioner President Atkinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Eberhard,
Yes.
Commissioner Irving,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Schaefer.
Yes.
The yeses are 4, the noes are 0. Motion passes.
Thank you. Now we're on to agenda item number 4. Multiple agenda items. So if you give instructions, I think there were some of those people had to come on out.
Agenda item number 4 is open for multiple. Please clearly state your name and which agenda items you will comment on for the record. Okay. We're going to go over to Henry. Which agenda items would you like to speak on, and how many minutes of the 5 would you like to use?
Yes, I'd like the full amount for the general public comment, and then I have comment on each agenda item individually. I can start with general if you like.
So for general public comment, that's a separate agenda item. So if you're going to comment on the other agenda items, like 6, 7, 8, 9, you can just let me know which ones, and then we can allocate your 5 minutes.
Okay, sure. Yes. Mark me down for all, and then I'll walk you through each one.
Okay, sounds good. And we'll get our timer going for you. Go ahead.
Yes. Ready?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So one of the things I wanted to speak on for 6 through 9, I'll start with 6, is this board is one of the few bodies all across the city that still to this day continues to actually take virtual public comment. And I just want to pay my respects because it's an ongoing issue I'm having with the city. In fact, one of my very good friends is disabled. She can't go to every meeting in person. And I know many other folks in the community, particularly in the ADA community, are also disabled. And the city has launched a massive campaign to remove virtual public comment. And I think that is a very clear mark of corruption and the suppression of the will of the people. How is it that any constituency can truly file their grievances and be heard when they are not being allowed to be heard? In fact, City Council is doing this, several other city commissions, despite the fact that I know physically for a fact they are not having any sort of lack of infrastructure issues. They have all the video equipment, they have the Zoom licenses, they have everything they've had since the COVID period, yet frustratingly enough, they are in fact continuing to launch this rampage of suppressing the virtual public comment section. And in fact, several council members had the audacity to go on the record and say, I don't care about violating the Brown Act. It's no big deal. I'll do it anyway. And I think what I would love to see is, again, this is one of the few commissions that actually has a stable head on its shoulders and actually listens to the will of the people, is to please consider writing a CIS in favor of the city having some sort of ordinance to, as an option, allow virtual public comment and stick to it. The ever-changing rules of the Brown Act and the inconsistencies is really what the key issue is. Some boards will have, despite all of them being all city entities, will have 1 minute for general and then another added minute for multiple agenda item. Other boards will have just a maximum of 10 to 30 minutes, period. It doesn't matter if it's multiple agenda item and or general comment. And that's absolutely not what the will of the people wants. It's absolutely viewpoint suppression. The biggest, I would argue, is the ADA. This board clearly does not abide by that. You guys clearly support virtual public comment. And I hope that other NCs also follow suit. I think this is one of the most activist boards I see in all across the city, because you actually listen, you actually follow up, and it's much more than I can ever say for any other city entity. And same with the neighborhood councils. They actually listen. And I'm not trying to make it a mandate for neighborhood councils. I don't ever want to wish that kind of pressure upon them. I think they do rightfully and should continue to be highly independent. And so if they can make only in person, and so be it. But for the city committees, right, the city level, they absolutely should have some sort of will, some sort of force to be required to have virtual public comment to be taken. They don't lack the money. In fact, you don't need to spend any extra money. It's already there. And I think it would look fantastic to support the ADA community and take a stance on this, regardless if it's in your official capacity, either through a CIS report or in your individual capacity. I spoke at the Commission on Disability last week. It's a headache and it's a battle that they too are trying to fight. They're looking for other allies to fight it. I personally have written to every city and state and federal agency across America, from senators in California, city reps, the city attorney's office, the DA, and it's frustrating, but it is a worthwhile battle. I hope you'll join me in this battle. I hope others, along with the neighborhood councils, will also join me in this battle. I look forward to speaking to them about this matter, and it's one that's very near and dear to my heart, because the more we allow this to be the norm, the more and more voices we are shutting away from it. And with that, I rest and I wait for my turn for my final comment. I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, and our other hand raised is Jill, but and Jill requested that we call on her for general public comment. Just want to put that for the record. And apart from that, we don't have any additional hands raised.
Jeez.
She wanted to go on the next one.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right. So that was general public comment. Thank you for that comment, by the way. We usually don't give compliments. So it was nice to know that somebody said something nice about our commission.
That was not general public.
I just thought I'd add that, anyway. Next agenda item is, that was multiple. Next agenda item is item number 5, general public comment. Do we have any commenters?
okay. That's the comment. If you would like to comment and on the telephone, press *9. If you're on the computer in the Zoom window, press the raise hand button at this time. If you're in person and has submitted a comment card to this agenda item, your name will be called. Each speaker will have up to 2 minutes to speak on the item. When you're unmuted or called forward to speak, please clearly state your name for the record. And we're going to go ahead and start with Jill.
I'm not sure if this is where I bring my concerns, but I'm concerned about the general city of Los Angeles and their neighborhood councils that allow certain groups on their boards that have undue influence. One in particular, which is Scientology, which is not seen as a religion like it is here in America, but other countries have not recognized it as a religion. The problem with Scientology is that they abuse the people in the community. They get away with things that most of us will not get away with. I want to see the city councils or the neighborhood councils all over the city do something about them not abiding by permits, totally abusing their power to hurt peoples with disabilities, such as Audit LA. She is being discriminated against. They don't let her go through the sidewalk. They have cracks in the sidewalk. They have not repaired them for the ADA community. I'm very concerned that they've infiltrated the city and have undue influence in being allowed to get away with things that any other business in the city is not allowed to get away with. They're currently going to be on trial in September for trafficking. And I think you should be aware of that human trafficking is a big problem in Los Angeles, especially with Scientology and child labor. You have to be aware that we don't have slavery anymore in this country, but we actually do. And that's happening right under your noses in the blue buildings. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Next up, we have going back to Henry for general public comment.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, this is Henry Marini again, and I want to share my contact information. It's info@filmthepoliceusa.com. And I'm here to talk about a message of transparency and accountability. I have been dubbed officially as Heidi Feldstein Soto, aka the Los Angeles City Attorney's biggest fan. The reason why is because I beat a case where she prosecuted me criminally for frivolous charges, simply because I spoke out against her political supporters. In this case, they happen to be Scientology, but really the message has nothing much to do with Scientology, but rather the corruption that the government of Los Angeles is perpetrating and enabling criminal rackets like Scientology to continue. Scientology, in many facets, is just another developer racket, okay? They also traffic people, but the bottom line is that they're taking advantage of people and the city is allowing them to do it. I put Heidi on blast because through my discovery, it was clear that she did a political favor. I actually interviewed her in person at the Sherman Oaks Homeowner Association. She didn't know what I looked like, and I outright asked her about my case. She admitted on a public recording that she knew my case was totally bogus. She knew there was not ever be prosecuted, but yet she kept it going anyway, just cause as a favor to Scientology. The 4 cops that showed up from the LAPD all discovered that they showed up under color of law on a personal call from the behest of Scientology with direct collusion of the city attorney to file those charges. Now, no convictions, no criminal history, no fines, nothing. But this is what's going on in the city. And this is my personal mission, to out and expose the corruption of City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto and the rest of the city government.
Thank you. Speaking time for this item is ended. Next up, we're going to go to call-in user. Actually, we're going to go over to our in-person commenter on my apologies. We're going to go over to Kay Hartman. We are on general public comment.
Hi, I'm Kay Hartman from the Palms Neighborhood Council. Speaking for myself, nice to see you, Joy. Commissioner Atkinson, sorry. Okay, I just wanted to say that registration is open for Budget Day, June 21st, 9 o'clock, with breakfast starting at 7:30. We really have an all-star powerhouse lineup this year. Speaking will be Mayor Bass, Council President Marquise Harris Dawson. I have, I'm sorry I had it written out, but I didn't bring it with me. Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, Katie Yaroslavsky. We have Controller Mejia, CAO Matt Zabo. We have General Manager Carmen Chang. We have Bunk President Joy Atkinson. And then we'll have on the panel, we're going to have the moderator of the panel discussion is going to be the Civics and Democracy reporter for LA State 9.3. His name is Frank Stoltz. And on the panel, we will have Stephen Chung, who is the CEO of the, I forgot it all, Los Angeles Economic Development Corporation. And we'll have Julie Butcher, who is an organizer with SEIU. We'll have Rick Cole, the Deputy Chief Controller. And we're still working on getting somebody from the mayor's budget team. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of it. And you can register at, can I just give the URL? You can register at tiny.cc/budgetday25. The B and the D are capitalized. The presentation starts at 9 o'clock. Breakfast starts at 7:30.
So how long is the morning session?
It goes until 12:30.
Till 12:30?
Yep.
And then at 12:30, that's when you pick up.
Regional breakout session.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next up, we're gonna go over to calling user 1. You are being unmuted.
As a member of the public, I'd like Dunn to remind neighborhood councils about agendas. Agendas are for the use of public information and not solely for neighborhood council board members' use. I speak of this, for instance, as we've come out of the pandemic, many neighborhood councils are returning to in-person meetings. Some are remaining online. Unfortunately, agendas are not matching this information. They need to indicate, are they in person, are they online, or are they both? I'd like to address Bonk for their own agendas. The following are links to information widely distributed to the NC system. Many of these links don't exist. You need to sign in to get the information, or the platform that is linked is an old platform. Either provide the old and the new platform or the new platform. An issue of neighborhood councils and public comment. I'd like to speak to alliances. There is an issue. Recently, there was a motion by City Council to have that the same discretionary extended time allowance for certified neighborhood councils should be applied to select non-certified community councils. So they want access to city council and committee meetings. Interesting, when I'd like to have, this is for the city attorney to address a formal statement at the next Bonk meeting for the following: Westside Regional Alliance of Councils, also known as RAC. According to their agenda, they indicate attendees who do not identify themselves upon request of the chair will be removed. Now, this RAC is almost 70% neighborhood councils, recognized certified neighborhood councils of Los Angeles.
Okay, thank you. Your speaking time for this item is ended. Okay, next up, we're going to go over to Glenn Bailey.
Thank you, Glenn Bailey speaking as an individual. Good afternoon, commissioners. First of all, I just wanted to report that the Salute to Recreation Family Festival that was held in Northridge over the 3 Friday nights, Saturday and Sunday, was well attended earlier in the year than in the past. And actually Saturday was quite cool, overcast and a little bit of sprinkling, and Sunday was just fine. There were 1,000 people there. There were 3 neighborhood councils that contributed funding to it, and 2 of them had booths all day Saturday, all day Sunday, which is a big task for neighborhood councils. And I realized that the election filing had already closed for the vote by mail ballot just prior to this, so there was no need for EmpowerLA to be there, but you may want to just put on your radar screen for general outreach, because what we did at our booths is most of the people who were there were not from Northridge. They were from other communities. So we invited them to put down their name and email address, and we will subscribe them to the various agendas for the neighborhood councils. So most of the folks we did were actually neighborhood councils outside of Northridge. So if EmpowerLA may want to consider being there next year, to cover that general purpose. One recent comment of from some neighborhood councils that have not achieved quorum. They tried to have a meeting but didn't have quorum. There seems to be a little bit of a disconnect of what you can do and what you can't do with quorum, and it might be good to send reminders. I mean, obviously you can't. Anyway, there are things I guess you can do based on what the NEAs are advising. And then lastly, just on Zoom, just know that some of us, some neighborhood councils have gotten a request for reimbursement for the prior fiscal year. We got an invoice for this upcoming year. We just paid it and got notice today, city clerk approved payment to the department. But just know there's some confusion there about prior, the previous versus the upcoming. And you may.
Thank you. Your speaking time for this item is ended. Okay, and those are all the speakers that we have on this agenda item.
I had a question, I forgot what it was, so. We're on to item number 6, the general manager's report.
All right, thank you, Commission President. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. All right. So in terms of the budget update, I just wanted to have this on here to share that last Friday, the Budget and Finance Committee meeting held their last session. And, you know, if you've been following the news, the chief legislative analyst basically reduced the number of city layoffs to from the mayor's proposed budget of about close to 1,650 to potentially less than 500. So this Wednesday, the item will be coming to the full city council. On Wednesday, there'll be allowed time for members of the public to provide public comment. So I just want to share that to make sure that folks are able to join and provide public comment on the 25-26 fiscal year budget. This is the last opportunity to do so. And then on Thursday would be when the city council does the final vote on the budget. After that, then I believe it goes back to the mayor, and then the mayor has until June 1st to adopt that budget. So that's that in terms of the budget update. For this current, the next fiscal cycle, the request, earlier this year in March, we started sending out the request if entities wanted to renew their Zoom licenses. The cost per license is $193.74. To date, 43 neighborhood councils have paid to reimburse the department for their licenses. So we've got about $10,000 reimbursed. And then so the reason why there's a little bit of confusion was, we're heavy in the budget cycle, but also as we were looking into the invoicing for the next fiscal year, we realized that some of the 20 Zoom licenses for the current year, 24-25, that there had not been reimbursements. So there's another notice out to say, hey, neighborhood council, if you did not pay the Zoom license for this fiscal year, please do so. So those notification letters were sent out May 15th to 30 neighborhood councils with outstanding reimbursements. So there's about $6,000 outstanding. Reminder that neighborhood councils can use the city clerk neighborhood council funding payment portal to submit the payments. They must be submitted by this Friday. So as a reminder, I know we've been reaching out to the neighborhood council, but we know the fiscal year's coming up. So May 23rd, and our teams are working together. Our team plus the city clerk funding team is working closely together to make sure all the payments are processed quickly. So for this coming year, then the Zoom request, the Zoom invoices have already been sent out late last week, distributed to 77 neighborhood councils plus the budget advocates. It's the same cost, $193.74. And this is high priority on behalf of our accounting team. So if folks do have questions, please reach out to us, accounting@empowerla.org. In terms of Canva, the deadline, we set reminders. It was May 15th. The cost per license estimate has been revised to $100 for Canva. We did send out the purchases for Canva licenses today. And today it looks like we've got 47 neighborhood councils and budget advocates Canva license. And invoices requesting reimbursement will also be sent out today or tomorrow at the very latest. Again, please make sure payments are submitted by May 23rd, Friday. Okay, and then if there are any identified errors, just please be in good communication with us. Our accountant will make sure we address it. Good. That's on Zoom and Canva invoicing. I wanted to introduce our new Deputy Mayor of Community Engagement. That's Vahid Korsan. I believe he's in a meeting till about 2, so he'll come momentarily. But just wanted to welcome him to the commission. I think folks may know who he is already. But I will just talk about quickly upcoming events. As we're wrapping up elections in mid-June, we understand that all new board members and boards will be seated July 1st, but we wanted to reach out ahead of time to gather folks in person, to say hello, and just an informal event. So the first one we are doing next week in the West Side. We're doing it in the order of regions. And so as we're starting to plan them, we will be reaching out to commissioners and other folks. The next one, the first one, I believe is next. It's West Side in Mar Vista. Next, it's Tuesday, May 27th.
May 27th?
Yes. 6 o'clock at the Mar Vista Recreation Center.
What?
At the Mar Vista Recreation Center. I can send over the invite already. So yeah, once the next one we'll work together on the harbor to plan that out, and then we'll just do it kind of in the chronology of the election timeline. And then just the other one is that we are supporting Commissioner Schaefer with the South Valley Town Hall, and I'm sure Commissioner Schaefer will run some updates there, but we're excited to that May 31st, Saturday, May 31st, the South Valley. Yes. 31st, the South Valley. With that's my report for now, and I believe when Deputy Mayor Corson arrives, if we're allowed to go back to the agenda.
Some questions. Everybody knows that I'm not computer friendly. What is Canva?
Yes, Canva is basically it's if you want to do some graphic design, but you don't have a graphic design background, is how I understand it. Our department uses templates, basically easy to use, and then basically NCs can use a plug and play of sorts. Hey, here's a template. We've got our entire lay logos and backgrounds. For any type of major events, you can use our template and you can make some updates. Or there's some neighborhood councils that are very, do this on my own, and it's basically to lay out any outreach materials.
So it sort of takes the place of like a PowerPoint. You don't want to use PowerPoint, you can use Canva?
It's more for outreach. So anything you want to post on social media posts with a template, flyers that you want to be distributing out to the community.
And you have to pay for it? I mean, the individual
for a license.
Neighborhood councils?
Yes.
So you get a license just like you do for everything else? Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Commissioner Schaefer, I'm trying to remember if this was covered last time or not, but those templates that have been particularized to neighborhood councils that you have in your database, those are still going to be available to the neighborhood councils that get their Canva license, or no?
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
Okay, that's been confirmed. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for one license.
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as
you have one license that details,
yeah, as long as the neighborhood council has a license, they'll be able to get the ones that are already created.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions for that? Okay, so public comment for the general manager's report.
Okay, agenda item number 6. It's a raise hand button at this time. If you're in person and have submitted a comment card for this agenda item, your name will be called first. When you are unmuted or called for to speak, please clearly state your name for the record. And we're going to begin with Kay Hartman, our in-person attendee.
Hello, Kay Hartman, Palms Neighborhood Council, speaking for myself. Two things on the general manager's report. One is I wanted to ask about what you've heard about the neighborhood council budget. I'm assuming from what I've read, there's no change, but I'd like clarification if possible. And the other thing is clarification on the updated budget. Are they still allowing 100% rollover, or have they taken that money and put it to something else? That's one thing. And then the other thing I want to talk about is the regional meetings. Has notification gone out about the side meeting? Because I don't recall it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Schaefer, brief comment?
Go ahead.
Okay, as to one item, NC budget, I did have a conversation with the vice chair of the budget committee on Saturday, who said that they recommended staying at the 25,000, and their justification had to do with the number of jobs that can be covered with that money. As to rollover, nothing was said.
I'll do a point of clarification. So thank you. I think that
In terms of regional meetings, we'll make sure.
Something without all the neighborhood councils.
Yes, and real quick, I believe.
I don't know why. Is that better?
It's okay. It's okay. We'll give it a shot nonetheless. We'll resume your time right now. Let's start.
All right, well, anyway, the beginning of the GM report was muffled. When it's talking about budget and stuff like that, maybe a better distance from the microphone. Also, when it comes to the invoices for the Zoom and Canva, who were they sent to? Any communication needs to be sent to the entire board so that if the treasurer doesn't respond or something, that the entire board can go and get on the case of the treasurer or whomever the invoices are sent to. I haven't seen any invoice for Canva or Zoom, and I don't believe it's been agendized. Also, it's, I guess that's all. It just has to do with making sure that you're able to, maybe listen to the recording and see about how to fix any muffling and stuff. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we're going to go over to Glenn Bailey. Glenn, just reset our timer and you can begin.
Okay, so I'd like to thank the general manager for the details about the breakdown on the numbers dealing with Zoom and Canva. That's great. That's very helpful. So as I was wrapping up really quickly in my remaining seconds under general public comment, so we received the invoice for this upcoming fiscal year, as the general manager indicated, May 15th, and as I indicated, it was submitted and just got word today that city clerk approved it, payment. I'm assuming, since we didn't get a notice of reimbursement or delinquency or whatever it was called, I think it's called, anyway, that we're good for the previous year. But I guess it was a bit of concern that if that was billed like last April or whenever it was a year ago, right, and there was no follow-up, until just now, and plus it's overlapping with this new period, right? It's just confusing. And I have to say that that email about the reimbursement was not well written. And I think that contributed to the confusion for some, because it wasn't super clear if you're getting two of these things, one for the previous year, quote, reimbursement, the other one's, it just, I don't know. I hope someone is reviewing these things before they go out. Make sure it's consistent with, your standards for the department. And I just checked. I did notify Empower LA that we had authorized the, to opt into Canva. And as of this moment, I just checked the email. We haven't received invoice, but maybe I misunderstood. Maybe the invoice is going to be going out by the end of the day today. So just sharing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have calling user 1. You are being muted.
Yes, this weekend I was watching local news as I was getting ready for weekend activities, and KTLA had a presentation on volunteers continue beautifying Los Angeles ahead of large-scale events with Shine LA program. And they were showing in the presentation, they were at a I guess, a temporary parking lot for people to a meeting point, and there were all these booths. And when they identified the location, I checked with the corresponding neighborhood council. There was no mention on social media, on the neighborhood council website, on the neighborhood council recent agendas of this quote unquote event. I think the Deputy of Community Engagement should provide a presentation at the next bonk meeting for all neighborhood councils. Actually, I'm a member of the public, so I'm just looking at this from the outside. I know a previous event corresponded with Earth Day, so those neighborhood councils had already planned community events in which the city later asked to use a presentation for members of the public to sign up. It's so general. They just give like the location of the city. They don't give a corner, anything to be specific as to where the actual event is taking place. So perhaps people not wanting to sign up because there is no specific information. This can be such a great neighborhood council outreach opportunity. I mean, these volunteers are actually going there wanting to help beautify Los Angeles. I'd like to know, was the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment in attendance? There were all these booths. I'm looking at it from the television, so I couldn't see all the booths. Were they in attendance? Again, a presentation. How are neighborhood councils being advised of these locations with enough time in advance to plan an outreach opportunity? Thank you for your consideration, and I look forward to seeing this item on a future agenda.
Thank you. Your speaker time for this item is ended. Next up, we're going to go over to Jennifer Clark.
Hello, Jennifer Clark with North Hollywood Northeast Neighborhood Council, speaking as an individual. Okay, well, I know the general and chain has already heard from me by email and at the bank meeting, but the short notice of these invoices being sent out is a disservice to the neighborhood councils, especially when you want to turn around the time in 1 week or 2 weeks to have these in. And I want to support also ditto what Gwen was saying, they were confusing. I am obviously not on the email thread. Our treasurer probably is for the Canva one that was received today, but I had been under, we did already vote for it, but I had been under the impression that it wasn't going to be until the next fiscal year that it would be coming out of that budget. That Canva was already paid through the end of this fiscal year. So that is also a miscommunication or misunderstanding in how things are being presented to us. I guess we need more support and we need more knowledge or ahead of time. Of 30 days seems to be a completely understandable standard of receiving invoices that we need to pay and put into the portal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, those are all the speakers that we have on this item.
Okay, thank you. We're on to from our commission regarding the ad hoc committees. The first one is on censure and removal.
Excuse me.
You have any info on that?
No, could we go back to number 6 for a moment?
Mr. Schaefer requested going back to a minute. He said go back to item number 6.
Just say, I should have jumped in much faster, but I was writing. I asked a question of the general manager. Is it possible with regards to some of these notices like the licenses that they do go to the board as a whole as opposed to just say the president and the treasurer? Just because sometimes some people are either not aware, they're somewhat lax, they're not checking, things of that nature, especially when you look at something like the Zoom license, which many of us have already gotten. Many of us have seen it, our reimbursement, but it's kind of a short time that they're coming out. I know that it wasn't quite expected, but there are some short notices with some of these things. Just wondering if that could be done.
Yeah, I'll check with my team. It really could send them out to all not 99 councils, but all the NCs that use both of the licenses. It just depends, some say, okay, please don't send it to everybody, and some say, please do. So we would just need to check with each neighborhood council. But yes, we can definitely follow up.
Okay, thank you.
They go out to who? The president and the treasurer? Yeah. Well, they should take some responsibility anyway, Mr. Schaefer, for letting everybody know. That
We do, but I mean, I'm listening to other neighborhood councils
yeah.
that are talking. I will say as a comment, we tend to get them paid before anybody on the neighborhood council, other than two of us, are aware that we've got them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now we're back to item number. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody.
I hope that wasn't a public comment.
It was a private call. I apologize. I thought I had my phone off. So now we're. Jeez. You're a persistent person. Excuse me. I apologize. Don't do anything off. Okay, we're on to item number 7, which is the verbal updates from the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners on our ad hoc committees. And I was asking for about number A, which is censure and removal policy.
Already from Commissioner Waters about submitting what we have done as far as revised language to the city attorney for any comments they might have before we finish up with the general procedure for getting those started. That's all. I don't know if that's been done.
All right. Then we have, who's in charge of the?
Debbie.
Debbie.
Oh, Debbie. So can anybody report for her? Bonk rules of order? Anybody talk to her?
Not lately.
No?
Not lately.
Okay. So we have to skip that for now and hope Council File 240867.
The only thing I have to say is keep responding to that survey that you will find on the DUNG website. And once we have new data following all of the elections, July 1, we'll start putting together the data portion of the report.
Oh.
That's it.
And any info, Council, where this file is right now, the city council just sitting kind of mute while they go through budget or something?
That would be correct. They're waiting for a report from us, and they will be getting that at some point in the future.
Good question. Mr. Schaefer, have they actually passed anything requesting the report?
Wow.
Yeah, the motion.
I mean, other than the committee, has the council itself?
Yes. Yes, if you look at the amended 2408-67 that council approved, you will see that that's in there.
Okay, then they actually did take action. They approved.
Yeah, and I think you'll find it in your packet, actually.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that's item number 7. We are now on to. Oh, do we need public comment?
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, agenda item number 7 is now open for public comment. If you would like to comment on the telephone, if you're on the computer in the Zoom window, press the raise hand button at this time. If you're in person and have submitted a comment card for this agenda item, your name will be called first. When you're unmuted or called forward to speak, please clearly state your name for the record. I'm ready to go and call on Glenn Bailey. We're gonna get our timer up before. Okay, Glenn.
1 minute, please. Glenn Bailey, 2 suggestions. Number 1, it might be helpful to put the name of the commissioner who's associated with each of these ad hoc committees, just after the name of the committee, just so the public knows. Even though if they're not there, there may be someone else involved and you'll go to them. The other thing I wanted to suggest with regards to item C, the council file, since the survey is related to that, may I suggest that you include that survey link on the agenda associated with that that listing for that line item, so that when people see the council file number, which I assume goes to the actual council file, that you have a little line under that, maybe said, take the survey and put the link on there. That's my recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you.
On to item number 8, which is a discussion to change the bond. This is a discussion we've been having that we need some input on. Discussion of public action to change the bond regular meeting time of the first Tuesday meeting to an earlier time. We've been, there are two things that happen with our Tuesday meetings. We've had them in the evening, and we used to travel around in the community to have the meetings. And two things have occurred that since we are allowing Zoom, very few people come to the meetings. And when we do it in the evening from 6 to 9 in some of these public venues, it costs extra money to bring sound equipment, to bring staff, to rent the place where we have our different meetings. And so we were wondering, and we were discussing at our agenda meetings to discuss maybe having the meetings at an earlier time, so that we don't have to pay, because we have to have security, and we really don't need, we can have security until about 4:30, but after that, it's kind of cost prohibitive, but what we have to pay security. So we were wondering about wanted to discuss having the meetings earlier, kind of like the meetings that we do today, that we do on Mondays. And so that's the discussion. It's really, it's a matter, as usual, it's a matter of money. So, any input from the board, on what we should do?
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
It is a matter right now, and just so.
We are required to have 2 per month.
Yeah.
Part of the charter.
Is that correct?
Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So the way it is now, like you're at this afternoon meeting, you can do it like once, but you can't do it twice,
Yeah, so I generally got to work around 5 p.m. This is an exception. I've been accepting my schedule for this meeting.
Yeah.
I can see that.
We're in a quandary.
Well, if I may, would 2 p.m. be better, or even 3 p.m.?
That is literally my workday.
Now, the only thing that we could talk about is that for some reason, trying to make that meeting, if we do it 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, or even if we leave it 4 o'clock, because we don't want to pay the overtime and it's difficult, is there some way that on those particular meetings we can have a shorter agenda, change our modus operandi, so to speak, and some of the more difficult issues, plan them for our Monday meetings, and maybe cut the meetings shorter for those Tuesday meetings. More public comment on other issues, or some of the easier issues that are not as difficult to discuss. Maybe something urgent may come up, but I'm thinking usually our issues kind of follow a few weeks at a time. We haven't had that many urgent that we must discuss at a certain meeting, except for some deadlines on some bills and stuff. So I was just wondering if we could say, what about a meeting that's a little bit, or can you come a little bit earlier than 6 o'clock? Like if we did an evening meeting like 3 o'clock or 4?
That's not a little bit early. No, I'm just realistic. I work in after school programs, so that's when they run is after school.
Yeah.
So how about this?
Okay.
How about if we alter this? Right now we do a Monday meeting during the day, a Tuesday evening meeting. Should we be looking at the days of the week? Would that make a difference?
That's a thought. I have a question, by the way. Can we interrupt this discussion just for a few minutes so that we can meet and talk to our new deputy mayor? If everybody doesn't mind, just hold
No
it
objection here.
Okay, because I don't want to keep them waiting.
Yes, sure. So it sounds like we're going back to item number 6, General Manager's Verbal Report. Excited to welcome our new Deputy Mayor of Community Engagement. He corresponded, I believe he is brought a guest as well.
We have to reopen public comment.
Okay.
I didn't know it would be so close. Hello, Commissioners. Mikey Corsair, Deputy Mayor. I've also brought one of our leaders on the community engagement team for the mayor, Jocelyn Dominguez. If you want to just introduce yourself.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Jocelyn Dominguez. I serve as the Manager of Community Engagement for our team, and I also serve as the area representative for the Harbor Watts area.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
So I am in week 3. I'm former president of Board of Public Works, former vice president of Statewide Planning Commission, also served on the Prop K Commission twice. Cool to see those photos behind you. Also Metro Service Council, Van Nuys Citizen Advisory Council. I share all that to say I actually did not mind listening into your conversation about days and times of meetings. I know as volunteer bodies how challenging it can be to prioritize this service and your work-life balance in general. So thank you for your service to the city. I know it's a lot of work. I know, having known Len, I don't know how long it's been, how much work he personally puts in for free for the city. So thank you. I want to open up this, kind of know a lot about me, but I want to give Jocelyn a chance to kind of talk about what the Mayor's Office of Community Engagement does. That's okay. She's been a pro at this for much longer than I have been, so I thought you'd want to hear from someone who really knows what the Mayor's Office of Community Engagement does and is supposed to do, and then we're happy to answer questions and see how we can further work together.
All right, well, again, I serve as representative for the Harbor Watts area. We actually have a total of about 10 area representatives each. And so we're basically tasked with knowing the ins and outs of your communities, making sure that we are connected and up to date, basically serving as the city of Los Angeles, but also how you and your communities can get engaged, how you can connect with your local government and get involved. And vice versa, making sure that we are serving as the eyes and ears to the mayor, making sure that she is informed on what is the concerns, what are the questions and issues that are popping up in across the city, and also seeing how we can collaborate with you and other departments to address these issues. I know moving forward, we have hopefully can work more closely together to really activate our communities to address some of these community issues. Yeah, that's just a little bit.
Generally, anytime you invite me, I'm going to bring someone from our staff up because I think it's great for you all to meet who is really doing the work on the ground, and also for them to kind of meet who our city leadership is well on the Neighborhood Council Commission. So happy to take any questions.
Real quick to ask Vahid and Jocelyn real quick. Some of the questions about, could you provide an overview of the Charter Reform Commission? I know the mayor just released a press release on Friday. And then I know there was a public comment about Shine LA and how neighborhood councils could get involved.
Yeah. So the mayor has nominated 4 commissioners and has submitted an executive director and a deputy director as well. They should begin working sometime in the next few months. There is a tight timeline in terms of their workload. They have to review and select another 5 commissioners, all of the appointed commissioners, so not the mayor's commissioners themselves, but from the council president and other appointing agents. Then they have to select 5 commissioners, and then they have to get to work, and they have to get everything done just in time to have things submitted before the end of this calendar year, so it can be on the November 26th ballot. So that's kind of the general overview. They have not started yet, but yeah, it's a tight timeline.
I know you must have a question, Mr. Schaefer. Over in the department, since you've taken over, are there new people that has there been like a shakeup?
No shakeup. So it's myself, and we have a senior director, Constantine Hatcher. So we're looking to refresh some of the things we do in our approach. A lot of it is going to be towards base building and organizing, just making sure that we're bringing more people under the tent. Kind of how we've been operating before in terms of motivating and activating as many people as possible, but trying to build upon the work that's been done and just be a little bit more broadly collaborative across all neighborhoods. So trying to find new ways to do that.
So I know in the department, it doesn't to high heaven, but what other, is it general like neighborhood homeowner groups? And I mean, what kind of groups falls under your department besides neighborhood councils?
Well, the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment falls under this shop. But I'll let Jocelyn speak to all of the different groups in the Harbor.
Engage with our office. So like we will also attend the CPAT meetings, neighborhood watch meetings, coffee with the principal, coffee with the cop, connecting with our faith leaders, especially, or any like local community organizations. So really any group or person that is looking to engage with us and help collaborate or partner to, escalate any issue or just be involved with our office.
Okay. When the mayor became mayor, anyway, and trying to understand the departments, and there was a lot of titles that had community in front of it, and I wasn't quite sure who was in charge of what, but it seemed to maybe becoming a little bit more cohesive, where I know I can go to your department if it's community engagement, and I don't have to figure out where else to call. So, yeah. And I do bug people a lot, so just remember my name.
In practice, the Mayor's Office of Community Engagement should be your first point of contact if you want to reach someone in the Mayor's Office, so we can make sure, rather than you trying to reach whoever it is, dialing a bunch of people, emailing a bunch of people, we are to be that resource for you to make
so
sure.
I'm assuming your department is divided up kind of like we are, South LA, the West Side, downtown, South Bay, the Valley, that you're divided sort of like that. So if I represent South LA, then there must be a South LA contact that I should be able to contact on issues, and there ought to be a North Valley and a South Valley person to contact on issues. Like, I'm assuming it's the same sort of division of labor.
Yes, so we do it by council district. So each area rep has like 1 or 2 council districts. So like, for example, South LA, we have a Southwest area representative who covers council district 8 and 10. And then we have a Southeast representative who covers council district 9.
Right. Mm-hmm. I have 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, so you have 2 reps, 2 contacts. Yeah.
Joy, can I weigh in? All right, it's good to see you as always. Are we going to see you at the meeting today?
Yes, tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. Or tonight, yes.
I'm also the president of the Coastal San Pedro Council, and we've worked with Jocelyn for a while now. But one of the things, and I mean, I've been doing this for over 20 years, but when the neighborhood councils were first formed, there were organizations in my area in San Pedro very active in the community for decades in many cases. And there was concern that neighborhood councils would supplant some of what they were doing. And my idea then, as it's always been, is that no, the neighborhood council ideally exists as a hub in its community, connecting all of these other groups. And for some of us, it's actually worked out fairly well. And so when we talk about community engagement, I mean, that's sort of at the heart of what neighborhood council should be doing. But along with some of the organizations you've mentioned, I'm going to throw out some others. For instance, Friends of the Library. Many library branches throughout this city have friends groups. They are incredibly active people. They raise a lot of money for their libraries, and libraries are a social services hub for communities. A lot goes on there, most of it good, some of it not so great. There are other friends groups. In Pedro, we have Friends of the Aquarium, Friends of the Maritime Museum, and so on and so forth. Again, the Lighthouse Group, very active, working particularly with recreation and parks, which you also have park advisory boards in many cases. So I know we sometimes tend to look at the more high profile and ignore the lower profile groups who just go about their business, but really are as involved in communities and have been for a long time. The other thing I would point out in terms of the value of neighborhood councils, there are something like 1,700 or will become July neighborhood council board members throughout the city. Well, for every one of us who serves on a board, there's a whole bunch of others who serve as volunteers on our committees or who show up at our meetings or who are just otherwise involved. And they may not belong to some of these other organizations, but their community interest and activism is the neighborhood council. So real life probably just double your workload, but I want you to be aware the city of LA is full of activists. Sometimes in places you wouldn't look for them.
Commissioner, I will respond to that. As a former neighborhood council member, I forgot to leave that out. I also was a volunteer committee member, then an alternate before I got elected. So I hear you. Just say our priority as well for the mayor and the mayor herself is to meet people where they are. And it is really about being a big tent and making sure the folks who are these leaders, and not just leaders, but people who are stakeholders in any community, whatever organization they're a part of, that they have a touch point with us and we have a touch point with them. So while it may be a lot of work, that is really our priority, is making sure that as many people as possible are aware of what the city does, what the mayor does, and what city services are available. Because I think looking back just from the San Fernando Valley myself, a lot of people feel like the city doesn't know who they are and doesn't know their areas. So a big priority for us is to educate, inform, and bring people in to be a part of the process.
Thank you.
But thank you for those suggestions. I think we're gonna make sure to follow on.
Yeah, questions?
Well, I'm just going to say to Vahid, very good, always moving upward, very good. I remember when you were our rep out there, and also from the Public Works, getting all your emails that were constantly coming out. Should you find yourself with nothing to do between 10 and 1 on the 31st of this month, South Valley Neighborhood Councils are having a town hall in Encino, at the Encino Rec Center, Ventura, and
May 31st.
May 31st. I know that there's a Bright scheduled for that. This one was scheduled before the Bright was scheduled. But should you find yourself with nothing to do, drop by and do say hello. Hopefully we'll have some city council members there. Nobody has confirmed yet. Perhaps even the mayor will drop by, should she be in that area during that time. So
Len knows I live in Encino. I know where.
Oh, you know where it is.
I know where the rec center is. I think Carmen and I have been discussing it. I will probably be attending, maybe not at 10 o'clock, because it is right when our Shine LA portion in the valley will end, which will be in Sherman Oaks. I'll be at the one in Sherman Oaks, but there's 4 others in the valley that day. So I'm happy to stop by if I think I just need to get like a run-up show, so I know exactly what time I really need to be there, so I can leave our Shine LA portion. We can definitely work in seeing if we can get the mayor to stop by as well. I know she's going to make her rounds for Shine LA that way that day as well.
Okay, and I'll find out if we're going to have some city council. My group, my area includes 5 council districts or some portion thereof. So we're inviting a lot of city council members who unfortunately haven't responded yet, but we'll find out. But if you can, that'll be very nice.
Yeah.
And we'd be happy to see you because it's been a while since we've actually seen you in the valley, even though we've gotten all of your emails.
I will share the joke that Len and I once had coffee after I made a vote that he didn't like on the Citywide Planning Commission. And we met at a coffee bean across the street from the project he did not like. So we've been friends since then.
And I think that project is still going ahead.
Anything, Mr. Rick? No? Any other questions? Well, thank you very much. It was very nice meeting you, seeing you in person. I was on the same call when after the big fire and everybody had to give a report, and you gave a report on behalf of the Board of Public Works, and we were really impressed with the thoroughness of your remarks. So we appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to jump in with one last thing and then over to General Manager. One thing that's going on in the valley that you might look at, and I'm sure you know about it, has to do with the East Valley Transit on Van Nuys, and then up and over or through somehow this proposal passed. There's been a lot of activity. I know that just recently, because of my wife, I attended a Zoom webinar conducted by UCLA alumni, because they are pushing for a station at UCLA. But this is going to be something very, very important to the Valley, and there's a lot of groups other than neighborhood councils looking at it and talking about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
To the commission, would it be all right? There was a public comment earlier that asked the deputy mayor and the team about Shine LA and how they were supposed to get involved.
We have to reopen. Yeah. But that's the only brief comment. They can't carry on a Q&A.
Well, I will say, without responding to that, Shine LA is a program focused on beautification and volunteer activation across the city of Los Angeles. And I brought it up in other neighboring council Zooms we've done at Public Works. Really, the focus is to get as many people to get the muscle memory back of being volunteers. As many of us will recall, before COVID, a lot of people volunteered in different capacities across the city, not just neighboring councils, not just like cleanups, but in a lot of different ways. And during COVID, we kind of lost that muscle memory across the city. But now we're really focused on getting people activated, building up that muscle memory, building up a pride in Los Angeles. So yes, it's towards building towards 50,000 volunteers when the Olympics come, but it's also about building pride and ownership of our streets in Los Angeles and what we want the city to look like within our own hands. And so we're open to any neighborhood council that wants to participate with us. I know a lot of things have come up with, are you asking us for funding? Not really, we just really need your support. And, you know, as you said, Commissioner Epperhart, about different hubs, and we do see the neighborhood council as hubs for these communities that when we do bring a Shine LA event, you serve as that hub that kind of connects us to other organizations or individuals who want to participate and offer suggestions as well. So far, a lot of it has been tree planting and litter cleanup and beautification, but I think there's a lot of different ways that we can think about beautification. And I think neighborhood councils are really the experts on what is really needed in your area. So if you're in San Pedro, if you're in South LA, Commissioner Irving, I don't know what area you live in, so West Side. The needs can be very different. Can it be doing some light maintenance, painting work inside a rec center, a library, community garden? There's so many things that can be done. So we're going to come back and try and focus on encouraging neighborhood councils to provide us that feedback so we can diversify what it is. Because not everyone wants to participate in litter cleanup, not everyone wants to participate in tree planting, but there could be other things that kind of motivate them to participate and want to beautify their portion of the city. So not a real response to but that is also one of our big priorities, is to really build up the pride people have in Los Angeles and every community that is a part of Los Angeles.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there public comment?
Do we take public
Yes,
comment?
we have to have public comment.
I'm sorry.
Okay, agenda item number 6 is once again open for public comment. If you would like to comment on the telephone, press *9. If you're on the computer in the Zoom window, press the raise hand button at this time. If you're in person and have submitted a comment card for this agenda item, your name will be called first. When you are unmuted or called forward to speak, please clearly state your name for the record. And we're going to begin with our in-person attendee. For clarification, would you like 1 minute, 2 minutes? How many minutes for the 2 minutes? Okay, just making sure. And we're going to start with Kate Hartman.
Thank you. Hi, Kate Hartman, Palms Neighborhood Council, speaking for myself. I want to welcome you to the job and want to say a few things, 3. First is CD5 does not have a rep, and we feel, at least I feel, a lack for not having one, and it'd be great if you could hire someone. Next thing I want to talk to you about is Budget Day, June 21st. I'm on the Budget Advocates, and if you want to see what we do, we represent all the neighborhood councils. Budget Day at City Hall, Starts at 9 a.m., breakfast at 7:30. Come and see what we're about. And then the last thing I want to talk about is Shine LA. So Shine LA came to my neighborhood. I've had more pleasant experiences in my life. And one thing I want to say is that, you know, our neighborhood council worked hard for this Shine LA event. And we asked for our logo to be on the flyers, and we were denied that. I'm just going to say neighborhood councils do a lot with very little. And if a neighborhood council is actively working on the Shine LA event, including their logo would mean a lot in terms of their recognition and outreach. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're gonna move over back to our Zoom attendee list. Jennifer Clark, you are being unmuted.
Hello, Jennifer Clark with North Hollywood Northeast Neighborhood Council, speaking as individual. Vahid, it's always good to see you. My favorite, my LA 311 guy. I'm assuming that efforts will still continue. So I guess I really want to talk about what Jocelyn said. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. About collaboration. Like, what does that actually look like? And I know Vahid just came on this couple of weeks. So if you could really look at that collaboration, what does that look like? Especially with neighborhood councils. I know it's for all different community groups, but neighborhood councils also have to have Brown Act meetings. Neighborhood councils have to be reached out to be collaborated with more than 30 days beforehand. Oftentimes, at least from our rep from the mayor's office, it feels very much like her name is Christina. She's great, actually, as far as our communication with her, but it is not collaborative. It is her telling us what the mayor wants to do. There has not been a, what would you like to do with the mayor? There has not been a feedback on, did you want to participate in the Shine? No, I got an email that said, here's the Shine events, we want you to show up. And if it's going to be collaborative, then it also is co-hosting events, and that means per the rules within city clerk's office. That means we have to have an event, a packet to them more than 30 days beforehand. So there are a lot of things that, at least for us, with having to follow Brown Act rules, neighborhood councils in general, that need to be taken into consideration to be truly collaborative. And so that would be one of my biggest feedback items. And if you, I didn't realize that Shine could be something other than litter pickup. We definitely have neighborhood council members that are all like, we pay our taxes, the litter should be picked up by the city. But if there are other things that are going to be available for volunteering, then that would be fantastic. Or if you want to send a survey out to all the neighborhood councils for us to be able to give that feedback on other directions with beautification, I would definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Danny Johnson, I would like to say for the record that the timer on Zoom had error. However, I was able to find time in-house with the Zoom, or Zoom the timer in-house, and the holiday is there full time.
Okay, next up we're going to go to Roy. We're just going to reset our timer. Roy, you're being unmuted.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Vahid, it's Roy Noaser from Encino Neighborhood Council. I want to thank you for coming to the meeting. And
Mayor's Office of Community
Office of Community Engagement. Office of Community Engagement is who you would call, sir, and then you would say what your neighborhood council is and what area you live in, and then you would probably be connected to the right person that would handle your neighborhood council business. And I just thought that we should make that clear, since he's been having some frustration.
Thank you for the point for clarification. We're going to resume, public comment. We're going to go over to Glenn Bailey.
Glenn, I'm going to try to make this 1 minute. Vahid, welcome, congratulations. And I know you've always been so collaborative and reached out, as Public Works, et cetera. So I'm sure you'll be doing a super job on that through the mayor's office and the others on your team. I do want to say one of the challenges, just being involved with Encino Neighborhood Council as well. One of the challenges is that by organizing it by council districts, Council District 4 is West Valley, East Valley, Griffith Park, Los Feliz, et cetera. And I have a feeling that the West Valley is getting the short end of the stick. In the past, the previous mayors, they've organized things, West Valley, East Valley, et cetera. I did want to say, as an officer with the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils and the LA Neighborhood Council Coalition, we'd love to have you back in your new position as a guest speaker. I'm going a little bit out of a limb here, but I'm sure everyone would agree.
So on the directory for the mayor, under the community, but there has to be somewhere where all the events can be listed so people and neighborhood council can know ahead of time if they want to be involved. Thank you.
Thank you. And those are all the commenters that we had. I just want to make a note for the record that Roy has his hand up, but we already called on him. And we're done with public comment.
Thank you for calling in. Appreciate it.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we'll go back to our discussion about our Tuesday meeting and time frame.
So my last question was the day of the week make a difference in terms of availability?
And that was an interesting question.
Yes.
Would a day of
That's
the
what
week
we
make a
want.
difference to you, Mr. Irvin?
If the meeting was at 1 o'clock.
Well, sometime in the afternoon. It doesn't necessarily have to be long, but.
From 6 to 1 o'clock, I'm okay with that, I'm okay with that. But I can't make both of that. I will be able to make 2 afternoon meetings. I work in the afternoon, so that's just, as a working professional who's volunteering, I can't do that.
It depends on work.
I have to, anyway.
Interesting.
Well, I'm just trying to get to, the problem with the evening is really the cost.
Yeah.
$1,000. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't always have everybody, everybody has different times when they can come. So it's, like we only have 4 today, so we're still missing 3 people, so.
Yeah, I know, it's a struggle to get a quorum. But maybe we could go with like meetings during the day, and then if there's see how it works, and then maybe schedule an occasional night meeting for special things.
Yeah, when it's a special, then it's a special.
We're not, even though we have a set time for meetings, as we've seen, we're not wedded to it. There are times when things get canceled and we do a special.
Yeah.
So.
Commissioner,
I would always just be sure we work on a quorum when Mr. Irvin can't come.
Yeah, no, it would be lovely if we had a time where everybody we'd have all 7 all at once, but that's happened once in a year.
Yeah.
That I'm aware of,
It just doesn't happen.
I have a question. And based on the discussion that I'm hearing, it sounds like it's been hard for us to get quorum. So I think we should, I don't know if this is actually a solution to that. If we're trying to get quorum twice a month, right? That's, I think, an indicator or something.
Yeah, and also, even though everybody comes at different times, I didn't want to finalize anything today because I would like to ask our other 3 commissioners.
Well, that's, yeah.
What they think about the issue. Specifically, we probably need to do a email or, say, look, this is what we're trying to figure out and the money we're trying to save. And
I do have a question for the city attorney though, regarding this. If we were to poll all of the commissioners regarding best times and availabilities.
No, that's a consensus.
Does that constitute any sort of violation of the Brown Act, or does that fall under a ministerial exemption, or are we gonna have a problem, or I just wanna make sure.
It depends how it's done. So we can put it depends how it's done, so we can put some options together to make sure that the Brown Act's comply with.
Okay, I just want to be very careful about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Commissioner, one more question. I know the Charter Commission came up and says that in the charter we meet twice. Where is there space for us to discuss that?
I'm sorry?
I know the Charter Commission came up, and it's in the charter that we meet twice a month. So where's our space to discuss that? To talk about changing that possibly.
But that would be in charter reform, because it's in the charter.
Yeah,
So it'll be with that commission.
yeah, because see, right now, yeah. So you can put that in, can we just do it once?
I mean, because to my knowledge, we're one of the few commissions that meet twice a month.
Yeah.
Right, and so it sounds like, I mean, just like, it might be kind of cumbersome for us to continue this, if it's not really achieving.
Yeah, but I can understand why, this is unique simply because we were trying to get as many people involved as possible and give them opportunity. So of course, we were meeting twice a month so that everybody would participate. So, I can understand why our commission needs more than, other commissions. But, so I think we'll have to, put this off and try to involve our other commissioners, to get some kind of opinion on what they think. But I think it's gonna be a difficult decision trying to pick a time. I think, because we never have a I mean, we always have a quorum, but we never have all seven. So whatever we pick, somebody's gonna be missing it, you know.
And may I make a motion?
Sure, Mr. Schaefer.
I would move that we,
Yeah, here's mine.
I would move that we table this motion, not postpone it to another meeting, but table this,
It's not a motion, it's an item.
no, you actually made a motion.
Nobody seconded it.
I did.
You did?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, that's right,
discussion.
for purposes.
You should, for purposes of discussion, you should.
Okay.
So I'll move that we table this to some future time.
Okay.
That means we can bring it up.
Time, so you just say table and call it.
Okay, I make a motion to table.
All right. Second that motion, and I think we can no objection it.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so with no objection, we have tabled this motion on, item number 8 on scheduling a regular meeting time for the first Tuesday at an earlier time.
But
Bring it up.
pending some polling of the board too.
Yeah,
Yeah. As
after
long as we don't lose that part.
polling the board, yeah. Okay, all right. So that's item number 8.
Public comment?
And
No, no public comment. That's a procedure.
Yeah, okay. It's just a procedure thing. Okay. Number 9, discussion and possible action. Oh, yeah. Discussion and possible action to create an ad hoc committee for the Empower LA Awards. This was a discussion again that came up at our agenda setting meeting that we wanted to get back into a discussion, wonderful things that neighborhood councils do throughout the community during a year. And we've done it in many different ways in the past. We've
On agenda item for, on item 8. Yeah. Okay, sorry to interrupt. So agenda item number 8 is now open for public comment. If you would like to comment and you're on the telephone, press *9. If you're on the computer in the Zoom window, press the raise hand button at this time. If you're in person and have submitted a comment regarding this agenda item, your name will be called first. When you're unmuted or called forward to speak, please clearly state your name for the record. Okay, and agenda item number 8. We're gonna go to Jennifer Clark.
Hello, Jennifer Clark, North Hollywood Northeast Neighborhood Council, speaking as an individual. So I can appreciate that the parking costs money, and I know that you guys haven't had much in-person attendance, but let's speak more to the attendance versus Zoom. I'm hoping that you could also take into consideration possibly how many people log into Zoom at a 1 o'clock meeting versus a 6 p.m. meeting. Because I mean, obviously, the way the webinar is set up, I can't see how many people attend the times that I am here. And that should be probably part of the information and data that could be considered as well on if that is attendance the same or if it drops off for the 6 p.m. Or specifically the same discussion about the commissioner's availability is the availability of who you want to come, which would be the neighborhood council members. I do think that a lot of it, that people that come as they just aren't aware of you guys. It took me a good 6 months before I understood that this was important for me to come to. So I mainly wanted to speak on that. And I guess just a side comment is, I've been watching these meetings for a while, and you know, you guys are supposed to be a little more knowledgeable sometimes of our Brown Act regarding meetings, and there are often times where public comment is forgotten or has to be reminded, or just to acknowledge that if it's an agenda item, it has to have public comment, and that sometimes makes me a little concerned. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have call 01. Please state your name for the record and begin. You're being unmuted.
Yes, as a member of the public, these meetings are very important to get the overall information regarding the neighborhood council system. I understand this discussion is almost chuckable because it's what 99 neighborhood councils have almost once a month, these discussions of meetings. Please consider the public attendance meeting to be an option. May I recommend the evening, of course, with the city attorney's authorization, convert the evening meetings to Zoom only. I believe you don't have to be in office for that, and perhaps consider twice a year in-person meetings in the evening, because that makes the meetings available to those working, family issues, childcare issues, mobility issues. If that can be perhaps, and then every year reviewed the meetings, because as we approach 2028 and we approach future budget issues, we're going to be needing collaborations with BONC. So if you can consider Zoom only, doesn't that cut out security, parking, and all that stuff? Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Let me just. Yeah, I'm gonna switch over the mic.
Oh, okay, very good, thank you. Brief comment. The commission, unlike neighborhood councils, is not under the state law that allows for Zoom-only meetings. We are under the Brown Act and other laws that require us to meet in person.
Thank you, Commissioner Vice President. We're going to go over to Sharon Brewer.
Number 9 is now the discussion and possible action to create an ad hoc committee for the Empower LA Awards. And once again, I was just a brief historical background is that we've always given, we've oftentimes done it actually in the fall when we would have our Congress, and we would give out neighborhood Empowerment LA Awards, and then we would choose a neighborhood council from every region and nominate other neighborhood councils and mention who the nominees are, and then announce who the big winner is at the Congress every year. And we may want to do that again. We may want to do it in a different way. We may want to just have an event that is the Empower LA Awards. And so we decided that we needed to form an ad hoc committee to talk about the procedure for the Empower LA Awards and getting input from neighborhood councils and everything. So, so do we have to vote on doing an ad hoc committee, or can I just say that we're going to have an ad hoc committee?
You have the authority to appoint members of an ad hoc committee.
So that's what I figured. So, and I think that we should have an ad hoc committee, and then we'll figure out how to proceed and, and include others. But I need to have, for an ad hoc committee on a commission of this size, I need 3 people.
3 or fewer.
No, you can't do 4, then you have a quorum.
Yeah, 3.
You can do 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I would nominate the 3 who aren't here, but that's just me.
I think I would like to maybe announce or nominate at the next meeting, because I think I would like to converse with the other commissioners.
One little caveat, some of us serve on neighborhood council boards as presidents, and I would not be comfortable serving on a committee if, for instance, my council were to be nominated for an award.
Okay.
Okay, so that's, did you two out?
I have, okay, The way we used to do it
Yeah.
was that the department would present to us the people who had self-nominated, basically, during a meeting upstairs. And then all of the commissioners who were present would be voting, except when your neighborhood council or your area, your entire area came up, you stepped out of the room, didn't participate, etc. So that's the way we used to do it. So it didn't matter if you were president of a neighborhood council, you just wouldn't participate in your region.
This vaguely rings a bell because I was there when we started these.
Yeah. I remember going to those meetings upstairs around the table at the last minute and hoping nobody came and snitched us off.
Right.
So the ad hoc committee would formulate how we would do it, which may be the same way that we've always done it.
Yeah.
So, but actually voting in your area, you wouldn't do that. I mean, however we do it, that particular commissioner would not vote on from their area at all. So, but that's, anyway, so therefore, I'll wait till the next meeting and talk to the other commissioners and make a decision on a 2 or 3 member ad hoc committee to discuss the Power LA Awards. Did I do that correctly, Ms. Attorney? Okay, so again, that will be for the next meeting. I'll be able to say who I'm going to who I would appoint to that ad hoc committee. That's number 9. We'll take public comment on my suggestion to wait till the next meeting to name the ad hoc committee for the Empowerment Awards.
Moment.
Okay, just for the record, before public comment, we're going to take a brief pause to do a lost forum for a moment. Just Commissioner Irving stepped out of the room for a quick second. So we will pause and we'll mute the mics for a second. So the mics are now unmuted. We are resuming this meeting. Let me resume the recording. And then we are back to public comment on number 9. So we're going to go ahead with Sharon Brewer. Just as a notice, Sharon, you have 1 minute remaining of the 5 minutes for the bump meeting. Oh, I see your hand was lowered. So in that case, we don't have any attendees. That no public comment on the phone. Let me move right over.
That was number 9. So we're now on to number 10. Anybody here for that?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is Shauna Dungo with the NC Funding Program. Just to give a brief update of our budget for this current fiscal year, NCs have spent a total of 60% of their fiscal year budget for fiscal year 24-25. About 35% of their budget has been spent towards office and operational expenditures. 5% of the total budget has been spent towards neighborhood purpose grants. Our office has reviewed about 2,063 check payment requests with a 76% approval rate. There has been a total of 4,814 credit card transactions that have been reviewed. To date, we have a 90% submission rate of monthly expenditure reports, which leads us to having only 5 neighborhood councils in frozen funds. Those 5 being Glassell Park Neighborhood Council, Silver Lake Neighborhood Council, Boyle Heights Neighborhood Council, EC Southwest Area Neighborhood Council, as well as Park Mesa Heights Neighborhood Council. Just an update, as we are transitioning into from fiscal years after the elections, we understand a lot of neighborhood councils are holding board retreats. We've recently received 2 requests, but we do want to just announce that we are open to attending board retreats to offer board trainings to neighborhood councils. So if we do want to, leave that option open for neighborhood councils, again, we've received 2 recent requests, and we would be available to offer those trainings at those board retreats. Just something that also has been mentioned concerning next fiscal year's budget. It was in the mayor's proposal that neighborhood councils may expect $25,000 each next fiscal year, but it's also been proposed that 100% of the unspent funds be rolled over. Per general policies, it is only up to $10,000, but once the city budget has been approved, and if that has been considered, then we would implement the 100% unspent funds rollover for next fiscal year. Lastly, we have rolled out our funding work group. Tonight, we will be holding our 3rd session to discuss the outreach expenditures and elections expenditures policies. We do have 3 more work groups scheduled out, but just based on the volume of discussions, or if there's other topics to be discussed, we may extend our work groups. However, we do still have 3 more scheduled after this evening. I think that is about it on my end as far as any updates, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Mr. Schaefer? Commissioner Schaefer, I missed that, your very first comment. Did you say they had spent 60% of total funds? Was that the figure?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct. 60% of the total budget.
With regards to the NCs and frozen funds, is there any place on the clerk's site that we can access that information so we can see if there are ones in our areas, or perhaps the reason therefore, such as they're more than 2 MERs behind, or what's the situation?
At this moment, there is not an area in the dashboard that explains that, but yes, those 5 neighborhood councils are in frozen funds, show whether or not the MERs have been submitted, but there's no direct notification to indicate that a neighborhood council is in frozen funds.
Okay, if a commissioner were to contact your office to find out if someone within their area is within those 5 or whatever number it happens to be at that time, would that information be available to the commissioner who might wish to talk to that neighborhood council?
Yes, you can definitely reach out to our office, and the respective funding representative will be able to help with that information.
Okay, last but not least, apparently specifically not least, from what I heard you say and what I know from past budgets, it is then up to the city council when they pass the final budget to specify whether the rollover is 100% of an NC's unexpended funds or some definitive amount. Is that correct?
For clarification, it is within our policies that neighborhood councils can receive up to $10,000 of unspent funds. That would not require city council approval. However, anything beyond $10,000 would require city council action.
I believe that 10,000 was originally authorized by the city council, because otherwise it would be in contravention of specific law with regards to what happens and used to happen to money that was left over. In other words, it always went back to the general fund to be redistributed. What I'm saying is, I know that at some point the city council in the last number of years said 10,000. Now you're saying it could be 100%, whatever that amount is left over. Is that something the city council, as I understand it, has to agree to?
That's correct, yes. Yes, that was, it was specified in the mayor's proposal for next fiscal year to incorporate the 100% rollover. However, you know, in the event there was no mention of rollover funds, our office will still implement the up to $10,000 of unspent funds. That's a standing policy within our program.
Because that's never been changed by the city council, at least not recently. Okay. But I will disagree with you. The budget didn't say 100%. It just said that they'd roll over, but it was kind of confusing. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Any other questions? No? Okay, so public comment on the fund report.
Okay. Agenda item number 10 is now open for public comment. If you would like to comment, enter on the telephone, press star 9. If you're on the computer in the Zoom window, press the raise hand button at this time. If you're in person and have submitted a comment card to this agenda item, your name will be called first. When you're unmuted or called forward to speak, please clearly state your name for the record. And we have Glenn Bailey. Glenn, and just as a heads up, we have 1 minute remaining of your total speaking time. And you are being unmuted.
Thank you, Glenn Bailey. Shauna, thank you for your efforts in organizing and coordinating the funding program work group. I think we have productive conversations so far, our 2 sessions. So thank you for that, and to Melvin and all. I noticed, since I've mentioned this at a number of bonk meetings in the past, I noticed that the city clerk, your office, has started putting the asterisks by the names of financial officers on the webpage, the individual neighborhood council web pages. I'm assuming, or shall I assume, I know you probably can't answer, but I would appreciate maybe a nod of the head. Can I assume that's a work in progress? Because our treasurer's been asterisked, our alternate signer has an asterisk, but our card holder and second signer has not been asterisked.
And then lastly, see that commissioners always want to know who is on the list for prison funds or whatever it might be. So perhaps we should include them in the emails going forward, or provide an actual report listing them for them. Thank you.
Thank you. No problem. Because we have on the agenda.
Oh, okay, that's it. Thank you very much for the report from the city clerk, and we have no other questions. So you're free to skip out. Item number 10 coming up is commission business. Brief announcements on commissioners' own activities, requests for future agenda items if there are any. Anything that we want to ask staff to research for us for the next meeting, Mr. Everhart?
Got a couple of things just in terms of what mischief I have been up to. I do want to give a shout out to the Central San Pedro Neighborhood Council, whose retreat orientation I attended on Saturday, and it was excellent. They're a council which has 7 of 17 new board members coming in July, and I think they did a really nice job. So I want to compliment them on that.
Right.
The second thing is just a bit of a reminder to the general manager regarding the Charter Reform Commission and getting that on our future agenda so we can start setting up some process to help neighborhood councils learn about it and how to participate.
Thank you.
Any other requests?
Not a request, but a report. I had a chance to attend the North Westwood Neighborhood Council meeting, not this month, might be this month, recently. And it was a really good time just to connect with them and to see the awesome work they're doing. I also had a chance to attend Palms Community Day. Shout out to Kay for your work on that event, as well as and the NC board, as well as the partnership or the collaboration with Shine LA last month.
Great. Mr. Schaefer?
Commissioner Schaefer, once again, just point out the South Valley Town Hall on May 31 from 10 until 1 at the Encino Rec Center. And one other thing, I noticed that each month or at each meeting, we indicate the authorization for neighborhood councils that have filed CIS. I would like to point out that in 2013, under our Rule 16 sub C, we instituted up to 5 minutes per neighborhood council that filed a CIS. So we preceded the council action by some years. So just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. I guess that's it. Now, so therefore, by the way, even though our discussion is to table to the next meeting, the next regularly scheduled meeting is June the 3rd at 6 o'clock. Oh.
The public comment.
Oh, yeah. Oops. Back to item number 11, and I apologize for forgetting public comment. So we take public comment for number 11.
Okay, agenda item number 11 is now open for public comment. If you would like to comment on cell phone, press *9. If you're on the computer in the Zoom window, press the raise hand button at this time. If you're in person and have submitted a comment card for this agenda item, your name will be called first. When you are unmuted or called forward to speak, please clearly state your name for the record. And we're going to go ahead with Kate Hartman, our in-person attendee.
I'm a Palms Neighborhood Council, speaking for myself. Speaking of I think it would be great if the commission could maybe have some public meetings on the subject, just the subject of charter reform, and started collecting ideas from neighborhood councils about changes they would like to see, and then put together their own submission to the Charter Reform Commission about what they would like to see. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and for the record, Jennifer Clark has her hand raised, but she utilized her 5 minutes of public comment time. And those are all the commenters that we have on this agenda item.
Okay, are we turned on?
So I just wanted to remind folks, until we make a decision on our Tuesday meeting, the next regularly scheduled meeting is June the 3rd at 6 p.m. here at City Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, here at City Hall. So just until we make that decision, we have another evening meeting.